Hi guys, I know I haven't done a rambling in quite a while now, and I will get to why actually at the end of the video. So if you are actually interested in knowing why, you will get to know that later. I think this week was quite a busy one, quite a lot happened, and I have a lot of things that just piled up because I didn't talk about it because of the lack of ramblings. So let's start with the first topic that was actually the first one of the week that actually happened, and then that was the Dell event. I was invited to was it the first press event, because I was already invited once from Toshiba, but that was on IFA, not a specific event. But this time I was invited to the Dell Venue 10 and 8 Pro presentation, and also to the new Dell XPS line. First of all, it was in Munich, so about 260 kilometers from where I live, and I was pretty much as ill prepared as I could have been, and the situation just wasn't right in some way, because I didn't find a close enough parking spot, and until the time that I was at the place where the event started, I was pissed because the weather wasn't good. The drive okay, but the traffic in Munich was bad, and there's like one lane going to two and back to one, and it was chaos. And then I lose my nerves pretty easily, so I wasn't in the best mood. And when I also noticed the location where the press event was happening was a wine bar, which is fine, and the atmosphere was really nice, but it was very poorly lit. And this is something that I completely didn't have in mind later when I did my Hansen videos. And if you saw one of those, you will know why it was so dark, because it was at that time about 7-8 p.m. in a already poorly lit wine bar, and I had not really any external lights with me because I don't have any portable ones, just the studio lights that I have here. And that was my fortunate luck, my camcorder has an inbuilt small LED that actually did a quite good job in these bad situations, and without that I would have been completely boom, nothing. But then again, it was nice to actually get in contact first time in real life with my contact from Dell. He wanted to know me personally because I get review units for them for quite a while now, and I never got to see him in person. Quite a nice guy, and I really appreciated the chance from him, because he gave it to me back when I had like maybe 1,000 subscribers, or even less maybe. And I talked to him about it, and he said, you have to see things are changing. They are going away from the traditional written outlets, going to bloggers, YouTubers, and so on. And he said, someone has to give those people a chance, even if they are small, because these could be the new MKBHDs in the future and so on. Not that I will, but that's why I appreciate it a lot. I got the chance, and I am quite, as he said, high up on their ranking to get review devices. And I noticed that because I actually asked him about it, because I noticed like Notebook Check, which is in Germany the biggest outlet here and gets the devices always first. I get them like maybe 2 weeks later if I know upfront enough about the device to ask for it, but that's really great. But let's get to the actual devices that were presented. The Dell Venue 8, Dell Venue 10 Pro, then the Dell XPS 12, 13 and 15. Let's start from the bottom. Dell Venue 8 Pro. The good thing about it is finally full HD. The build quality maybe wasn't the best, but what I really liked about it is a quite powerful package, I think, because the Atom in an 8-inch device with 2 GB of RAM, I think there's maybe a 4 GB option. If there is, then should be powerful really for a small 8-inch tablet to use for some lighter desktop stuff if you use a dock or something like that. So I'm looking forward to test that. The 10-inch was a bigger version with an optional keyboard dock, and that actually makes it even more so viable as a laptop replacement, because if you just do the basic stuff like emailing, browsing the web, watching videos and all that without any thoughts about on video editing and heavier photo editing or similar stuff, then these tablets do a fine job. The power is good enough. The battery life is great on these. Build quality was nice, and the screen was, from what I saw, really nice. So for the right price, Okay, you have to see it like this. The people I know would never pay $500 or so for a 10-inch tablet with a with a laptop. I mean, with a keyboard. They want like maybe pay 500 for a laptop with 15.6 inches. But then see the qualities. Then you get maybe like HD resolution with a really cheap build quality, with really bad internals and so on. You really have to keep that all in mind. And of course, your lack of any portability. But those people mostly watch just videos on that, YouTube and so on. And then 15.6 inches is just bigger for them. Personally, I don't find so much appeal for 15.6 inches because it's too big to be portable to do some stuff and too small if I really want to enjoy media. That's a personal thing. That's really personal. Everyone has to decide in itself. But that's the case for me. And I noticed, especially the bloggers and YouTubers and so on, they prefer the 13-inch region and so on. But I will get to that later. Also, Dell XPS 12. It was at first, before I actually got to see it in person, my highlight. Why? Because 12.5 inches, optional 4K display, magnesium build quality, Core M, which I like because fanless, but for all tasks, even for some lighter video editing, totally capable. But the way I see it right now, for me especially, this is just my case. What I want to do, what I'm thinking about is maybe in the future, replace my laptop with something lower end, just for the browsing, writing and so on, which in this case then the Dell would be pretty much the perfect device, but therefore upgrade my desktop, or I mean get a desktop here, because right now every time I do a video I have to drag up all my stuff here. I have to get my camcorder up here. No, I mean not the camcorder, I mean the laptop with my mouse, and if I have something additional, and always hook up the USB to the microphone and all that. And that's a bit cumbersome, and sometimes I'm just too lazy for doing that. That's why I would like to have a desktop here up top, maybe a little bit more powerful, so I can actually do the video editing here. Because what I do right now is I use my laptop for the video editing here, because for video editing it's great, but the output needs very long because I don't have any CUDA cores. And then I go downstairs in my living room where I have my GTX 970 to do all the rendering with the i7 and all that. And that's a bit of inconvenient stuff. So I would like to make all the editing here, and then I wouldn't need a powerful laptop anymore. And then something like the Dell XPS would be the perfect thing for me, because very lightweight to be used as a tablet if I need to. Then I could also replace maybe my iPad, or maybe have it as a second one. And if I want to write something, I would have something. But about the XPS 12. If you saw my hands-on video, you noticed that I had a complaint about the mobility keyboard. Why? Because the mobility keyboard has a fixed angle and it's not really properly secured. Maybe it works out well enough on my lap if I use it, because I mostly type either when I wake up or when I go to sleep, so in my bed or on the couch, not really at my desk. And then I don't think this, maybe I will have to see about it. I hope to get both, because there's also a productivity keyboard, and the productivity keyboard has a little bit of a flexible angle. It also has ports, which is nice if you need them, but it also has 60% more of battery life, and that is something that I'm looking forward to, because they claim 10 hours on the tablet itself. And Dell is one of the companies that really has odd battery evaluations, what they give on their spec sheets, because I usually get about 40-50% of that. So if I get 5 hours out of this tablet, it would be already great. With the Skylake, it could be possible, but I'm not so quite sure with the 4K tablet. Maybe with the 1080p tablet. Not sure which I will get. So yes, that's the thing. Then the keyboard, because the keyboard itself, even the mobility keyboard, great key travel, all that, really great. Okay, let's get to the 13-inch. The 13-inch is just the XPS 13, just the refresh. Not really done too much on it. It has USB Type-C now, the panel is the same, build quality is the same, weight is the same. The battery is a little bit bigger, and due to the Skylake it is a little bit more battery efficient and powerful. But if you don't have one, sure, go get that one. Unless the old one maybe is on sale for a quite better price. But it is a refresh after all, and that's why I think the XPS 15 right now is the more important or impressive, interesting device, because we now have the infinity display as well, 4K, which Was already great on the old 15, but now it looks even better. 100% Adobe color gamut or spectrum, newest Skylake, USB Type-C, GTX 960. I asked him about why not maybe the 970. He said the 960 was just the absolute limit in that form factor to pack in. The 970 was just not possible in that size with the battery life, with the heat absorption and so on. So that's why the 960 is the limit, but I think the 960 should be fine enough, but not for playing 4K. Don't think about that. That's for 1080p only, but that was the case only on the last one. But it should make things a lot better, and I can't wait to get that one. Maybe with a little bit of luck, end of this month, early next month, I could get my hands on it. We'll see about that, but that's the very interesting thing. Okay, now, enough for Dell. Let's get to the Microsoft event. And I will make a little few things short and therefore a few things longer, because this video will be very long because there is a lot to catch up from the last times. The Lumias. Okay, let's cover those first. The Lumia 950, 950 XL. The 950 looks really nice, especially if you get one of those third-party cases or bags, because those look really premium, which the usual, because some gadget guy told me or told everyone that it feels a lot like the 640, and the 640 is a mid-range for about 200. This one costs about 550, 600. And then I think I don't want the feel of a $200 device, because the matte polycarbonate of the Lumia 640 just felt not cheap but not premium. I just didn't like this slightly rough sandpaper feel. It just didn't feel great to me. The glossy one actually felt better, but that's why I want definitely the third-party case. It is 1.2 millimeters wider than the average 5.2 incher, which is a little bit of a bummer because the bezels are quite big. Also, the speaker on the back at the top is pretty much the worst placement, because everyone says bottom back is the worst, but no, because at least there you can reflect it holding it normally. But I noticed that on the 640 XL, if it's on the back bottom, it is backfiring but not even reflecting anything, so the sound was very poor. If it's maybe a loud one, it can make up for it a little bit, but that's still, I think, the worst position you can use, unless you maybe put it somewhere oddly placed at the bottom of the device and then block it. But no, not so great fan. QHD display with 808 with 3000 milliamps should provide a really good battery life. I think so on Windows, because it's quite efficient. Performance should be great. It looks great. The display will be super AMOLED. That will be a killer display, I think, and a really nice device. But I haven't used a final Windows 10 yet. Quite interested to see one. Of course, I think most of the people are interested in the 950 XL, because it is slightly bumped up in everything compared to the 950, but I don't think it will be the more popular device, not for me, but seems also really great. Okay, what else? HoloLens, that would take too much to talk about, and everyone thinks different about it. I don't want to go into that. Now, let's get to the Surface Pro 4. 4 Pro. Nice upgrade. Slightly bigger display, more efficient CPU, better touch keyboard. I hope I get to review this one actually finally, because I never reviewed the 3. And my gripe always on the Surface Pro line was the really crappy keyboard. This could be maybe finally fixed at least halfway decent with this version, because we have chiclet keys now, so that looks nice, but it's not the big thing to talk about, because the big thing to talk about definitely is the Surface Book. And my gripes here as well, though, as with the Surface Pro, is the pricing, because I did just yesterday check one thing. I thought about just checking the prices for the Surface Book, and I wanted to see what configuration could I get. And here is what I personally wanted. I wanted the dedicated graphics. I wanted 16 gigabytes of RAM, and then already the option is 512, because I personally would have been fine with 256 and 16 gigabyte, because 256 gigabytes for me in terms of storage is completely enough for my laptop, because everything will get eventually to my desktop anyways. So that's why not so important for me to have 512 gigs. And then I am forced to get 512 just because I want 16. Because I want 16 for a future-proof device. Because the price is $2,700. And if I pay $2,700 for a laptop, it has to last at least 3 to 5 years. More towards 5. Yeah, that's too much. Because I checked it, if you get a similar spec MacBook Pro 13, okay, without dedicated graphics, it's, I think, 2,300. So 400 less. And okay, if you see that for 5 years, maybe that's not too much of extra, because you get the tablet functionality, you get maybe even more refined device for now. Of course, maybe I think there will be a refreshed MacBook maybe early next year or the middle. But you won't get the tablet functionality. You won't get this fulcrum hinge that I think looks cool, and the pen functionality is something you definitely won't get. And it has a lot great things going for it. The great build quality, the really super thin and light weight, great build quality, great specs, a killer display, and all that, but it's just too expensive. As considering the power, because you can get so much more powerful laptops if you need to. And as I already told you in the middle of the video, I'm actually looking forward to actually get a maybe lower powered laptop. So as appealing as it sounds, it's just too expensive. And it was yesterday when I wrote on G+, it's odd times these days, because I have to stay with Apple because I can't afford Microsoft. And I said I don't think I would have ever expected to say something like this, but I did. So yeah, just quickly once again, Dell, nice products, want to review them, can't wait to get them. The Surface ones even more, especially the Surface Book. The Surface Pro 4 I want to test because I never tried the 3, and I want to see if it's really that great of a laptop replacement, which I doubt a little bit. What else is there to talk about? I wanted to quickly get to 2 things in terms of TV shows. If you haven't seen Narcos yet, definitely do. I really loved the show. It was like 90% all in Spanish because it was Colombian, and it was all its native language with just the voiceover from the lead actor in English, or pretty much that was mostly the case. But it was a great atmosphere, great story, mostly real actually. So definitely the atmosphere was great. Just watch that. The second thing is not so great, and that's Bastard Executioner. If you are a fan of Sons of Anarchy or maybe saw it, I was a big fan of the show. And that's why I wanted to see Bastard Executioner, because it's from Kurt Sutter as well, the man behind Sons of Anarchy. But what I got on Bastard Executioner after the first trailer that I already saw is something that I didn't like so much. And that was the case of the Middle Age, because I am on a TV show never a fan if I'm in a different time period. If I'm in the future, maybe okay, but if I'm somewhere in the older times, Middle Ages and so, I don't like this on a TV show, because that puts me like every week in a completely different time zone. On a movie, I don't have an issue with that, but whenever the times change in a TV show and I watch that for a longer period of time, it just freaks me out. I don't like it. And also the show itself the story doesn't seem so great so far. The actors are okay, but the atmosphere, and it seems poorly made, very bad partially. So not a big fan of him. I'll still be watching it for a while to see if it maybe can improve, but so far they really have to step up their game a lot. The next point, and I already teased it at the beginning, why not so much ramblings anymore? I already told you on, I think it was G+, that they will become more and more sparse. The reason for that is, when I did the daily ones, it became like an odd, I wouldn't say obsession, but the stupid thing that bothered me, it was a brain fuck for me. Every day when I was going through my feed, through my news feed, through Twitter, or whatever happened in the sort of tech or everywhere else, I always thought about, is this something to talk about in the rambling? Should I note it down not to forget it? And if I found the topic, I was thinking about it the whole time, what to talk about it in the rambling. And that for someone doing it just in the free time, for videos that usually get maybe 200 or 300 views, it was just too much of a brain fuck. If I would do YouTube full time, I would have the time to think about this. And I have the time during work to think about that, but it was just too much because I always thought I couldn't enjoy any tech or news anymore because I always just thought about what to talk about it. And that just wasn't worth it for something like this. If something really interesting comes up over the time, I note it down, and maybe I will do like a weekly or 2 weekly rambling because I still like to talk about those things. Yeah, still just not enough daily format. It was just too much. I liked it. I liked it a lot, but it was just too much for my brain, especially if you are still doing reviews and all that in the meantime, and want to have some free time. So no, that's just not feasible. And then the last point would be YouTube, the ugly truth, numbers do matter, but only in some certain degree. Because what I noticed when I updated my YouTube Studio app, I noticed one quite odd thing. Of all my views since ever I started YouTube, 2.4% of the views are or have been done by my subscribers. And that was for me a shocking value. I already knew it's not much, but I thought at least closer to 10%, because I heard like if you have to expect something like this. If you have like 5,000 subscribers, expect like 10% of those only watching your videos. But 2.4, wow, that was like a slap in the face. I didn't expect it to be that bad. And this already shows me something. If I do ramblings and so on, so not review stuff, it takes so much time, and only 2.4% only watch it anyways, because when I watch where my content gets watched or by what, it's like 40% by Google search. I guess they search for reviews, and 35% are by recommended videos. So if you watch a certain review and then see that one on the side, so that's 75. No. Yeah, it's 75% of all my views is done by that. Then there's like 10% by, I don't know what it was, it doesn't matter, and only like maybe 5% have been done by social media like Twitter and Google+. So even all my Google+ posts that I already made in all the communities I thought would actually make a difference, but they don't, because 5% of all my views is done by that. That's nothing. I didn't expect that. So, but what I mean by numbers do matter. The numbers matter because when HTC changed its press agency here in Germany, and I wrote to the old one, they told me no, we changed it. It's this one. Go contact them. But the contact person was still the same. But it wasn't the main contact person that I was in contact with, but the other one. So I asked him again, and I said, hi, I noticed you changed press agencies and so on. I would have liked the HTC Nexus 9 again for a re-review because of Marshmallow, which wasn't available, but I also wanted the 626. And he said me, what are you planning with? Because I guess he didn't remember me, because I only got 2 HTC devices so far. And he said, what are you planning to do with it? Tell me the range you can achieve in terms of viewers and so on, and give me a little bit more stats. So what I did is I checked. I said to him, I have slightly above 8,000 subscribers. At that point it was 8,000. And I have like a reach of 200,000 views a month. And I said I wanted to make a detailed review for the YouTube channel and a bullet point review on my blog, which I will try to make on every device now, because I like these bullet point reviews. Because these bullet point reviews are actually the notes that I make for a while now, not that long, because I usually do all the thinking about the review in the head and then make the review, but I noticed that I just forget a few things then. And that's why I do the bullet points right now. And since I already have these bullet points, which are just my thoughts, just what I see during the review, filtered down to what is important, and I just give this to you if you maybe want to just get a quick glance. But yeah, the little bit sad part here is that my blog isn't getting any revenue or so, because it's a completely free site. Maybe it could make a few cents still, because but I don't have the knowledge to make it paid, because then I would have to put it on my own server, but I'm using only WordPress free, so I can't. It would be nice though, because the blog actually doesn't get any views anyways. So if it would give me a little bit of something back, would be nice. Because the one thing that I wanted to talk about, this what was the point of this. Numbers do matter in terms of subscribers, because if I want a device from LG or Sony or Samsung, it is important for them to see that they get something back. And where do they get something back, or when? If the person that wants a device has a lot of subscribers, so the potential of a lot of viewers. So even though maybe just 2.4% of my subs watch these videos, the number of subscribers for the company still makes a big important factor, because they see, okay, he has 50,000 subscribers. So even if they calculate with 10%, they see, okay, 5,000. And of course, reviews usually get a little bit more views. That's a quite nice reach. And they give devices to those people, or 100,000, 500,000. But if they see someone with 8,000, they think, yeah, okay. If at some point in time nobody wants this device and it's outdated, okay, give it to him. Or for example, it was yesterday when I got a comment that said, it's funny, you still didn't get to review the LG G4, even though reviewed way newer devices like the Magna, the Leon, the G4C and the G4 Beat. And I said, yes, maybe funny for you, but sad for me, because I am just not high up on their ranking to get devices. Because, for example, I was, I think, lucky when I got the Samsung Galaxy S6 and Edge, because I got these 2 weeks after the release, which I don't know why I was lucky. But for the S6 Edge Plus, I will get it next week. I think maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. But the device is out now for 2-3 months. So as you can see, if I would have been higher on the ranking, I would have definitely gotten it earlier. Same goes for the tablet S2 from Samsung. And the G4 is the best example. I'm still waiting for the G4. If I would have had 5 times more subscribers, even though if they don't even watch my videos, it still would have said to the company, wow, 50,000, that's a big one. Comparatively in Germany, that would be already, I think, quite okay, because I know a YouTuber that has like 45,000 and he already gets everything he wants. So this already makes quite a big difference. So that's why I have to try to get at least more subscribers to make the channel grow. And I always said, I'm going too much into stats, and numbers are important for me. But it's not that the subs are important for me. Of course, it's always nice to see people wanting to subscribe, even though most of them, like I said, 2.4% don't even watch the content. But the number is important for everyone who checks my channel. If he wants to give me out devices, he sees the number. And the higher that number, the better the chances are for me to get review devices. And that's, I think, the main reason why I am so behind, and why I'm sometimes joking and saying I should change my name to Outdated Tech. Because the best chances for me to get review units are the really low-end ones that nobody cares about, like the LG, the Leon, and so on. These were low-end devices that the big outlets don't care, because the outlets, the big ones, they only care for the big flagships. And that's why my kind of niche right now has to be those more unknown devices, unknown companies like Toshiba and some Dell devices and so on, because that's the stuff that doesn't get covered anywhere, but for some people still interested in. So yeah, this video is already half an hour, so it could have been like a podcast already, but I'm gonna stop it now. I've talked a lot. There will be no word of the day anymore. Why? Because it's not a regular thing anyways, so you aren't watching this video anyways, so I will just stop that. But for a few crazy people who are still watching it, or maybe just skipped at the end and see this, thanks again still for your support. Even though I maybe could have sounded it like subscribers don't matter. it's not the sheer number that matters, or when I'm saying that the subscribers don't matter actually, but just the number of it. It doesn't mean that you are a number, because I know a lot of you, the regular ones, comment on all my videos, they reshare them, and I definitely know to appreciate the core, the really loyal core that really likes my videos and watches pretty much all of them. So big shout out to them. No shout out to the ones that only subscribe to be subscribed. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Yes, maybe. Nah. But wait, those people don't watch this video anyway, so yes. Okay, bye.